Welcome back, everybody. I'm Mike Hiru. This is Beyond the Shoot, and this is Back to School from Monday Night Raw. It's Monday night, and that means Raw's on. I don't know why they do this, but they continue to open it up with Roman Reigns, and they did it again. For that fact, I'm gonna give this a C+, because I hate the fact that it's getting predictable where every week it's Roman Reigns. He was pretty good on the mic because he actually said some true statements. Him and Brock Lesnar, whenever they fight, the buildup is phenomenal. It's when it gets to the fight where it just drags down and just completely turns into trash. And it opened up pretty well. He talked about how Brock Lesnar's gonna go back to UFC as his little bitch. I can say that, he can say that, so we can say that here. It was pretty decent opening. Like I said, I do give it a C+. It didn't lead to anywhere, just kind of him and Paul Heyman going back and forth about Brock Lesnar, the same old, but it did kind of change it up, so I do have to open up with the C+. So the first match of the night, we have Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. This is the third match. Balor won at Extreme Rules, Corbin won on Raw, and this is their rubber match. And it was a pretty well-wrestled match. These guys have built chemistry over the past two matches. What I don't like is the fact that you watch a pay-per-view with these type of matches and they go and wrestle on Raw the next week and the following week and the following week over and over again. Like we saw it on the pay-per-view. We see it with Shinsuke and AJ. It's the same thing over and over again. But this match was a lot better than Extreme Rules pay-per-view match, which is pretty kind of confusing because you want to have the pay-per-view being the star of the show. This match, I am going to give it a B+. It was a lot of back and forth. Corbin showed what he's capable of doing. Balor does what he always does. It kind of built up momentum for Balor. But Corbin just came back with his finisher, 1, 2, 3. Corbin gets a victory. At the end of it, he gets up and just starts attacking on Balor, throwing him all over the place and walking away. That's probably gonna set up a fourth match with them to kind of just completely end this feud, and hopefully they both take off from here because I feel like they deserve it. Now we go to the women. Let's go to the women. It's the welcome back for Ronda Rousey. She's gonna be on Natalya's corner because Alexa Bliss will be in Alicia Fox's corner. This kind of easing her back into the whole scheme of things. Natalya and Alicia Fox did put on a C+ match. It wasn't that good of a match. It was very slow. Alicia Fox, to put somebody on TV that she hasn't been on in such a long time and expect her to wrestle a great match, it's just not gonna happen, and it showed it here. She was very rusty, and you can tell she was very rusty. She is a veteran, so she did show that she can kind of carry a match a little. Natalya's a veteran, same thing. It was what happened after the match that actually, I'm gonna give it a B+. For the fact that Ronda Rousey in any type of physical altercation is gonna be freaking phenomenal. She threw Alexa Bliss over the top, just boom, like nothing. She did her finisher to Alicia Fox. And then at the end, Alexa Bliss, Alicia Fox just gang up on Ronda Rousey, throw her all over the place. I feel like that's perfect because I feel like she's came up on top a lot recently, and for her to actually be on the bottom, to have to come back and fight, it fits perfect. It gets cheers. Ronda Rousey, her first match next week on Raw versus Alicia Fox, is very excited. I am gonna give it a B+. Next up, we have Elias. He comes out and he starts talking about his album that he has out. He starts talking about Miami, how it's a crappy town, and he brings up The Rock. The crowd goes crazy. They start chanting, Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. I'm excited. I'm a Rock fan. I'm waiting for The Rock's music to hit. But it's Bobby Lashley's music hits. We've already saw this when Bobby Lashley came back to WWE. He came out on Elias and kind of just squashed him. They start singing along. It was cringy. Elias is singing and guitar, perfect. Bobby Lashley is cringy. Just keep him off the mic. It's not worth it. Elias comes back and attacks him, hits him with the guitar, just knocks him out and walks away. That I'm going to give a B because Elias came up on top, and I just really hope Bobby Lashley doesn't put him down because Elias needs a victory against a superstar like Bobby Lashley. Next up, we have Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal. It was set up with their altercation from last week, so they're going to fight each other this week. Before that, Kevin Owens was backstage talking to Corbin saying, hey, my match at SummerSlam versus Braun Strowman is for the Money in the Bank Championship. Brock Lesnar's here. What if Braun Strowman cashes it in? How can that's not fair? Blah, blah, blah. But Corbin's like, you know what? I can't do nothing about that. It's just you're going to have to figure it out on your own. So we go to the match, Braun Strowman versus Jinder Mahal. Braun Strowman's dominating like always. Jinder Mahal's never going to win this match. But the tricky part about it was that Kevin Owens comes out, he takes the briefcase, and it distracts Braun Strowman from the match. So he's running around the ring, and Braun Strowman tackles people like he always does. Cameraman, you had a job, you didn't do it correctly, you suck. So Kevin Owens is running around, and He runs to the back, but Braun Strowman catches him and takes the briefcase, runs to the back, chases him. Count of 10, Braun Strowman disqualified, counted out. Who gets the victory? Jinder Mahal. I'm gonna give this whole segment, this whole shtick, I'm gonna give it a C+. Braun Strowman as the funny guy, Braun Strowman saying jokes. He's horrible at it. He needs to go back to being a monster. I say this week in and week out. This Braun Strowman is not entertaining for me. Me as a wrestling fan, this does not go well together. I am giving it a C+ for the fact that Kevin Owens is a great performer. He's a great character, and he played it with taking the Money in the Bank briefcase. I feel like they need something to elevate this. Maybe their SummerSlam match will be pretty good, and Kevin Owens will put up a fight. But as far as this segment, like I said, I am going to give it a C+. Next up, we have a jobber match. I call it a jobber match because it's Akam versus Apollo Crews. It's Titus Worldwide and AOP. They've been feuding for the past couple of weeks. Each segment I've given them is a C, C+, and same thing today. I'm gonna give it a C-. I'm gonna give it a C- for the ending surprise factor that Apollo Crews did steal the win. So it's gonna set up another match with them, maybe a SummerSlam tag match, kickoff show match. I'm hoping it's kickoff because I don't wanna see it on the main card. I just feel like AOP needs to come out from this and just go on to a bigger feud, have them face somebody relevant, somebody that's actually capable to show how much of a monster they are. That way they can get back into that title picture and forget about the fact that they went all the way back down. But like I said, I am going to give this a C-. Next up, we have the A+ segment that we get every single week. A+ matches we get every single week. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, mark my words, will be the top dog in the WWE. He will be champion. He will be relevant. That dude is physically phenomenal. Great wrestler, great performer. I don't have enough words to express how he went from here to here, but he did it. Him and Seth Rollins put on a phenomenal match. I'm gonna give this match an A+. I was entertained. Even Tony, who doesn't even like Raw, was just, his eyes were glued to the TV. My eyes were glued to the TV. They were pulling moves as out of nowhere. Seth Rollins did this powerbomb hurricane to him. He did a flip to a pin. Drew McIntyre, it was a great match. The ending was so-so. I mean, it was predictable. Dolph Ziggler did interfere in the match, which caused it to be a disqualification win for Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins actually overcame them and had them both laying on the ground. Nobody came out to help. It was a straight handicap at the end. I'm gonna say a side note, Dolph Ziggler, you look funny. Don't ever straighten your hair and wear a blazer at the same time. You look like vintage Triple H before he was involved in the McMahon family. He looked really, really bad. But match overall, like I said, A+. Keep fighting. Phenomenal match. Next up, we have the B team being interviewed on the ring, just saying about their title championship, where they've overcame, what they've been through, so on and so forth. So they call out the Deleters of Worlds. They say, you know what? You guys punked us, come to our face. Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy show up like they always do. They start confronting each other, and then the Revival music hits. Steve-O, where are you? The Revival finally on TV and relevant in a tag match, in a title match. You need to be watching this, not me, because they're your tag team. But this does set up, they start bickering back and forth. They fight, they start hitting each other and fighting, and the B team runs away. They still kind of have their heel ways, even though they're trying really hard to become a babyface. But it's the Leaders of the World versus Revival just going at it, and it sets up the match of them two versus each other. Overall, I'm gonna give this match, believe it or not, a B-. It was a pretty good match. I hate the fact that the entire crowd was chanting CM Punk because it was completely disrespectful and completely unnecessary. I would understand they want to chant CM Punk in a jobber match, in a women's lower match, or even when Roman Reigns is out. You want to chant CM Punk? Chant it. But when a match is actually very well wrestled and actually telling a storyline, don't do it. That's just disrespectful. You can see the anger on the face of the Revival, of Matt Hardy, of Bray Wyatt. They were irritated. It was a well-wrestled match. I am going to give it a B-, and hopefully it sets up some type of triple threat tag team title match at SummerSlam, because I would actually watch that, believe it or not. So I'm excited to see that. So after that match, we go backstage, and they're interviewing Seth Rollins about his victory and about his feud, and Dolph Ziggler just comes out of nowhere, attacks him. Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere, attacks him, and just brawls on him. I don't know where this is going. Maybe set up some type of triple threat at SummerSlam, or a handicap match, or Dean Ambrose comes back and saves the day. I mean, just this feud needs to keep going because these three are putting on phenomenal matches with each other, and I'm super excited. What I'm not super excited is the fact that we have Sasha Banks and Bayley once again tag teaming together and showing their happiness, their hugging, their loving, and it's just very, very awkward, and I don't like it. They need to just turn them both heel. If they want to keep them a tag team, go for it. Keep them a tag team, turn them heel, and just have them be this vicious, just attacking everybody. I think that would be phenomenal. I was very doubtful about this match as the Riot Squad versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. I was very, very doubtful. I was, you know what? I don't even want to watch this. It's going to be boring. The past month or two, they've been just boring. But it was actually a very good match. I was kind of like falling asleep through it, and all of a sudden it caught my attention. So because it did catch my attention, I am going to give it a B. Bayley out of nowhere was very fast. Her moves were hitting. She didn't look like she was counting. I don't know if her teaming up with Sasha Banks all of a sudden has kind of rejuvenated her. But if they're going to have matches like this, then I might be okay with them actually staying as a tag team. But like I said, as a heel tag team, because that needs to happen. But like I said, so they were working very well. I am going to give this a B. They did get the victory. They did this weird combination of their finishers, which turned out pretty cool. I don't know where they're going from here. I don't know if they're going to have a match at SummerSlam. Like I said, I don't know. I just hope they turn heel if they're going to stay together, or if not, turn them against each other. So then now we go to the main event. The main event we've been waiting for is Brock Lesnar. All throughout the night, Paul Heyman's been begging Brock Lesnar, go to the ring. You know, they need you. You need to see. Brock Lesnar's playing. You know what? I don't care. I don't care about the universe. I don't care about WWE. I don't care about nobody. They can have this. They can have that. I don't care. Paul Heyman's begging. I mean, my job is on the line. I thought we're friends. And this is where it got very, very good. This is where it got just, I was kind of like, okay, you know, just get it over with. Just have him come out. But Brock Lesnar turned to character quick. He got up and he told Paul Heyman, he grabs him and said, we're not friends. You work for me. You've been stealing money from me. You're nobody to me. You work for me. You do as I say. That was kind of little planting the seeds for a potential breakup, which I feel like is going to come when he does go to UFC and Paul Heyman needs to bring up somebody else, which is going to go to my predictions when we do the prediction show, and you'll find out what I'm going to say. But, you know, Paul Heyman this time, you know, I'm going to get fired. And brother, I don't care. I don't care if you get fired. Just go out there, do your thing, and whatever. So Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin comes out, and he's like, you know what? Brock Lesnar, you need to come out, or Paul Heyman's fired. Paul Heyman comes out. He's begging him, please, you know, I respect you. It's Paul Heyman doing his little wormy, you know, squirmish type of character, which fits perfectly. He can go from serious to funny to playing the beggar in a matter of seconds and go back to each character. And Paul Heyman is the only one that can do that. Maybe The Miz, but Paul Heyman is there. So he's begging, he's holding on to Kurt Angle, like, please, going and so forth. Kurt Angle's, you know what? You're fired, we're done. All of a sudden, randomly, Brock Lesnar music hits. Paul Heyman goes back to the heel and starts laughing and saying, oh, it's all just one big plan. And Brock Lesnar comes out and says, you know what, you got a problem with me? You got a problem with me? Get some F5 out of nowhere. I'm going to give the ending of Raw an A, because we did not expect this. We knew Brock Lesnar was going to come out. We thought maybe Roman Reigns, but he got taken out by security by Baron Corbin. So Roman Reigns, you know, he's not even in the building. So, okay, what's going to happen? Are they just going to end it that way? Brock Lesnar just straight F5 to Kurt Angle, grabs Paul Heyman by the neck and says, look what you did, look what you caused. You work for me, threw him there, walked off. Great way to end Raw. This Raw wasn't actually that bad. That's me saying Raw wasn't that bad is a big deal. I'm going to give Raw a B. I have never, it's been maybe a year that I've given Raw a B. Since we started this Beyond the Shoot, I've given Raw a B 0 times. This is my first time. Congratulations, Raw. You got a B from me. And that means a lot because, you know, it's me. I hate Raw. But like I said, overall, I do give Raw a B. I am kind of excited to see next week. Ronda Rousey does get her debut versus Alicia Fox. Seth Rollins is going to come back on Drew McIntyre and Ziggler. The whole Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, Kurt Angle thing's going to come back. So I am kind of excited for it. But like I said, those are my grades, guys. Click on the above. Give me your grades. Give me your opinions. Comment, like, subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter, Mike Hiru BTS. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown.